What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Sitdown Remix. I'm sorry if the camera quality is a little bad on this one. I had to do a little bit of cutbacks this week because I was short on time, and we're not in the best room, so it's not going to look as good or even probably good at all. But I had to get the weekly episode out for y'all, so welcome back. If you're new to this channel, like, subscribe, comment your favorite part of the video. Or if you're just listening to it, just give us a thumbs up and enjoy. Um, Today, this is going to be a little bit more of a laid back episode than last week's was. Obviously, I had my principal on, um, but this week is just going to be a lot of um, me just giving my opinions on things. So, if y'all don't want to hear me talk about stuff, why'd you click on this? Honestly, I'm just messing with y'all. Y'all are good. Um, Anyways, yeah, uh, let's just get right into it. I'm still not very good at doing this, but first off, th- man, that Ravens Chiefs game, and that was one of the best games I've watched in a while, and it really put into perspective just how good the NFL is right now. Ravens obviously probably played the better game, probably deserved to win that game. The refs were garbage, but it really just drove home how persistent the Chiefs are and how much of a pain they're going to be again. Um, and I don't want to sound like a Chiefs hater or anything. I don't hate teams most of the time. I don't hate the Chiefs. Oh, we just got some better lighting. Cool. All right. But yeah, I don't want to sound like a hater or anything because I'm not. But I mean, there were some pretty blatantly bad missed calls in that game that went the Chiefs' way. There were some pretty blatant bad calls that went the Chiefs' way. Um, and you can't blame it all on Isaiah Likely's toe being out of bounds. I mean, yeah, I think that's more so just unlucky than anything else. Um, but yeah, great kickoff to week one though too. Putting the previous AFC Championship game to start the season had a ton of hype and it more than delivered. Um, but man, this week one is really probably going to tell us a lot, and it's really hard to predict things in the NFL just simply because injuries happen. I mean, teams. The NFL and baseball are the two hardest professional sports leagues to predict, except for you sickos that watch freaking Premier League or whatever. But yeah, like I don't know. This is very. I'm gonna give some predictions, obviously, like everybody does, but keep in mind these are less set in stone than my college football playoff predictions were, which are also going really bad. Florida State, I hate you. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but yeah. So we're gonna do some awards predictions. So first off, winning the Coach of the Year. This has been a trend to give it to the new, young, and trendy head coach that makes a surprise leap to the playoffs, right? Well, I have the Titans making the playoffs this year, and I think the Coach of the Year is going to be Brian Callahan for the Titans. This People do not realize how good of an offensive coordinator this guy was because he gets overshadowed by the Zach Taylors, the Joe Burrows, the Jamar Chases, the T Higgins, the Joe Mixons, the whoever you want to say overshadowed his play calling there. He was an awesome offensive coordinator, and now they have like that. People are overlooking the Titans, man. They retooled their roster heavily around Will Levis, giving him guys like Tony Pollard, Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, and then also trading for L'Jarius Sneed was huge. Extending Jeffrey Simmons was huge. Signing Quandre Diggs was big for that safety room. Signing Jamal Adams, he's going to be really versatile in the run game. That Titans team legitimately has a shot to win that division, and while I don't think they do because the Texans are just that good, I think the Titans finish second, and I think they make the playoffs as a wild card team, and nobody's going to be expecting it. And I think Brian Callahan is going to show the world that he's a better coach than Mike Vrabel. Sorry, Mike. I think you're a good coach. I just think Callahan's that good. Okay, now we've got comeback player of the year. This one, you can literally never predict it, like, at all. But I think it's got to be, without a doubt, DeMar Hamlin. Now, I know we all said that last year, and I get it. Guys, he played in like 5 games. This year, he is the starting safety for the Bills. Like, people do not realize how insane that is. Regardless of what you think of him as a player, like, his his comeback and his story is absolutely remarkable. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. And it really just goes to show, how good the NFL is nowadays. Because I don't think DeMar Hamlin's honestly that bad of a player. I think he was young in his first year, and I think he was really trying to hit home a few key points on his development. The issue is, right, when you're having that big, when you are put in that big of a responsibility, right, you're put in that tough of a situation, that tends to dwell on you. And that tends to, like, he was taking over for an injured Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Like, the responsibility was all on him. I don't think DeMar Hamlin is a bad player. I never have thought he was a bad player. And if he goes out there and he puts up solid stats for the Bills this year, there's no doubt he's comeback player of the year. Like, not a shadow of doubt in my mind. Um, Now, some runner-up candidates would be like a Devon A-Chain, or, I mean, maybe an Elijah Mitchell if he can actually get a role there. But I think he's a running back 3 now behind McCaffrey and Jordan Mason. So we'll see how that plays out. But I've got DeMar Hamlin winning it, and I don't legitimately think it's very close. All right, so this one isn't an official award, but this is a team. This is going to be a team that I am going to lock in to make the playoffs this year. And if I don't, I will do anything. I will do any reasonable thing that you guys comment down as a punishment. It could be me getting pumpkin pie thrown in my face. It could be me um, bungee jumping, which I'm terrified of. It could legitimately be anything, because I am that certain that's not like terrible or like inappropriate or anything. Like, something within reason, okay? So don't go out there saying do another 9/11. I'm not gonna do that, okay? Um, because if you do comment that, I'll just ignore you. So the team I have, and no, it's not the Titans, because I do think there are more things that can go wrong. It is the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, there's no way this team doesn't make the playoffs, man. They made so many meaningful upgrades. They made so many improvements on the defensive side of the ball. People don't realize just how close the Falcons were to being like a 9-10 win team last year. If Arthur Smith wasn't the biggest idiot I've ever seen coaching an NFL team, that team would have won that division with very little competition. But now they actually have a coach who seems like he knows what he's doing. I preface that by saying seems like, because it's the Falcons. I don't really know if Raheem Morris knows what he's doing, but it looks like he does. And this is going to be a wash of a game. Or a wash of a season. This should be like a 10-11 win season. And I'm telling you right now, nobody's competing for that division. I think the Bucks will compete for like the first 12 weeks or so, and then they're going to fade, and the Falcons are going to get in. So that's my like guaranteed lock team to make the playoffs. It is the Atlanta Falcons. So next up, we've got our offensive rookie of the year. I almost went a lot of different ways with this one. You probably can go a lot of different ways with this one. It's so hard to predict this award in particular, because there's so many good offensive players who tend to step up. And I could go with trendy picks. I could go with Caleb. I could go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not going to do that. I'm instead going to say a guy who should very clearly be the number one receiver in his system, who is 6'3", 225, and ran a 4.43 at the combine. The measurables on this guy are insane. His route running's good. He is a deep ball threat. And he went 23rd in the draft. He went only, like, some people are saying Xavier Worthy after last night's already going to be offensive rookie of the year. He ran a jet sweep, guys. Let's chill out. But I have Brian Thomas Jr. out of Jacksonville winning offensive rookie of the year. I know, weird pick, but I think it makes a lot of sense. He is super physical as a deep ball threat. He's a very good route runner, even though people do not want to give him credit for it. He's probably going to be the number one receiver in Jacksonville this year. So he's going to get a lot of targets alongside Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne. And if you hear the way Doug Peterson talks about him, his development over one training camp has been remarkable. And I think the Jaguars are going to be throwing the ball a lot because their defense is not very good. There are going to be a lot of close games. They're going to have to throw the ball, and I think that's where Brian Thomas comes in, and I think he's Offensive Rookie of the Year. All right, now Defensive Rookie of the Year. I went back and forth a little bit on this one too, but I've landed on a pretty certain answer, and it's going to be Dallas Turner out of Minnesota. This was the guy I wanted my Seahawks to take. I mean, taking Byron Murphy's fine. No complaints. I don't have any complaints about getting the best defensive tackle in the draft. Dallas Turner is a different beast, dude. As someone who watched him throughout college and followed his college career at Alabama, he's everything you want in an edge rusher with a KJ Wright style cover. He's a very solid cover linebacker when he needs to be. And he's fast off the edge. He's really got really good technique. He's going to be on a Vikings defense that he's playing opposite of Jonathan Grenard, so teams aren't going to double team him. And I have Turner getting 13 sacks this year. I think he goes off. I think Dallas Turner easily wins Defensive Rookie of the Year after some debate. I mean, some other guys that could win it are Quinyon Mitchell out of Philly, Laitu Latu out of Indianapolis, but I just think Turner is better than all those guys. All right, now my Offensive Player of the Year. This one is really so. You think Offensive Player of the Year, it should go to the best true offensive player, right? But the MVP is always a quarterback, and he never wins Offensive Player of the Year. They always give it to a skill guy. So this one was the toughest one for me because there's so much offensive talent in the league now. I thought about Tyreek Hill, but I think getting up there in age is going to catch up to him just a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. And I think the run game, they have a freaking 3 backs who can run a 4.35 40 in A-Chain, Mostert, and Jalen Wright. The Dolphins' offense is going to be a lot more run-oriented and screen-oriented this year. So I don't have Tyreek Hill winning it. I have... This is going to make some people mad for sure, but I think it really does make a lot of sense. I got Garrett Wilson, man. I got Garrett Wilson winning Offensive Player of the Year. People do not realize Garrett Wilson is what everybody thinks Terry McLaurin is. He has had horrid quarterback play, just bad throughout his career. And yet he I don't even know how to say it. He has the best route running in the entire NFL, and it's not close. He has one of the best verticals out of any receiver. Straight up, if this guy had played with a half-decent quarterback the last 3 years, people would be talking about him as a top 5 wide receiver, and they would be absolutely justified in doing so. And this is the year that Garrett Wilson's going to show everybody how talented he really is. And yeah, this one's pretty easy for me now. This was one I struggled with a while for a long time, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's too obvious. Like, it's Garrett Wilson. So Defensive Player of the Year is not as bad because there's only like a few candidates I think can win it. And I'm going with, and this is going to be a pretty like clear decision. I think it's going to be TJ Watt. I think Watt's going to have a healthy season. I think he's the best edge rusher in the NFL, even over like guys like Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. I think TJ Watt's better. And I think he puts up close to 19 sacks again, maybe 20. And he's going to be the leader of a Steelers defense that is going to be hungry all season long. And that's going to be the difference maker in that team. And I've got TJ Watt. Now we've got the MVP, and this will surprise some people because for some reason people just hate this guy, even though he's legitimately one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I have him as the second best quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen, man, like Josh Allen is going to just run through people this year. Like I don't get the people that are saying the Bills are just going to magically fall off. And I get it, right? They lost Micah Hyde, lost Jordan Poyer, lost Tre'Davious White. Do you realize how many combined games those guys played? It was 15 between all three guys, and it was spread out pretty evenly. Like, those guys weren't healthy, okay? And their defense was still solid with Teron Johnson and Kyer Elam and Christian Benford out there in the secondary. So how big of a drop-off is that defense really going to have? And then on offense, people say, oh, they lost Diggs. He has no one to throw to. People do realize that the Bills' offense got better when Diggs caught the ball less, right? And I think Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid and James Cook more than up to the task, giving Josh Allen a good set of weapons. And Josh Allen, he's probably going to run for 800, 900 yards again. I have him throwing for like 4,400. He's going to have some turnovers, obviously. He's Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen is literally a more mobile version of Brett Favre. Like, I see direct correlation between the two. But, yeah, there's no reason why Josh Allen shouldn't win MVP this year, just simply for the circumstances. All right. Now, this is my Super Bowl pick. And this is something that I'm actually going to come back to. So, this is something that I'm going to build on. This is something that I did so much research doing this because I went back and forth, I think, 4 times on my Super Bowl pick, but I finally have one. Out of the NFC, we're going to have the Detroit Lions, which still feels illegal to say. Like, the Lions, people do not realize the Lions before last year had one playoff win since 1957. And now they're a Super Bowl contender. And they have every piece they need. They really fixed their only true weakness, which was the secondary last year, by trading for Carlton Davis, drafting Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold. Like, this team is going to be deadly, and it is going to be a miracle if they don't come out of the NFC. I think the only teams that could challenge them are the 49ers and Eagles anyways, and those teams I don't think are built for January football. All right, now we've got the AFC. I could go with the Chiefs. I'm not going with the Chiefs. I don't think they get back. I think at some point the Super Bowl hangover is finally going to hit them. I don't know when it is, but sometime within this year it's going to hit them. And I do not have the three-peat happening. I have already talked about them, the Buffalo Bills. Yep. I'm hearing the protests already. Bring them in. I don't care. Take everything I said, copy and paste it over here about the Bills. They're the most underrated team in the NFL right now. They're being written off for no real reason, and everyone's acting like Josh Allen is like this bad quarterback. Josh Allen is an awesome quarterback, and I'm telling you right now, Bills are going to surprise people. They're going to make the Super Bowl, and I do have the Lions winning the Super Bowl, but the Bills are going to make the Super Bowl, and they're going to compete in that game. Man. So I am a huge NFL guy, but I'm way more, as y'all know, of a college football guy. However, last week didn't exactly go well for me, as if y'all watched last week's episode, or listened to last week's episode, I don't know what y'all do. I went 0 for 3 on my picks. Yep. That was not fun at all. And I hope to be better this week. My goal for this season is to have a 70% guess correct percentage, and I'm already starting way behind the 8 ball. Seriously, guys, that was a terrible week. I don't know what I was thinking picking West Virginia over Penn State as my upset. That was stupid. But we're back again this week. But first, let's go kind of over what happened last week, because there were a lot of things that did happen and a lot of things that were things, that just kind of were there. So, first of all, man, Georgia looks good, man. I think people are I think people are jumping to conclusions on Clemson too much. But, man, Georgia just looks dominant. They were without their top 2 running backs. They were without one of their best defensive backs. Didn't matter. They just ran right through Clemson. And once Trevor Etienne comes back tomorrow, this team is going to look maybe the most scary they will all season. They're playing Tennessee Tech, so whatever. But this team is good. Georgia was my national number 1 pick for the playoff, and they're looking every bit the part of it. Some of the biggest surprises of the week, good and bad. I'll start with the bad. Texas Tech. What in the world was that? Yeah, y'all won, but you beat Abilene Christian at home by 1. And it wasn't due to lack of offense either. Baron Morton is a really good quarterback in that system. That dude is not afraid to push the ball down the field, and I love it. Y'all's defense is bad, and Joey McGuire's got to get that situated for Washington State tomorrow, because Washington State went out and scored 70 against Portland State. Actually, the first time I think they've scored 70 in 30 years. It was insane. I watched some highlights of that game, and I know it's against Portland State, they looked really good. So, here I'll pull up some more. Yeah, it really just does come down to how good are these teams, right? Because week 1, I always say it, the biggest improvement a team can make is from week 1 to week 2. Week 1 doesn't tell you too much. You got to take everything you see in week 1 with a grain of salt. That being said, the state of Florida outside of Miami is in shambles right now. Florida, that offense looked like it was a high school offense. Graham Mertz didn't look good. Lagway looked okay, but dude, Napier's going to get fired midseason. And I don't think he deserves it, but he's going to get fired midseason, which is insane to think about. And then there's Florida State. Y'all all probably know about Florida State. Yeah, this has turned into a nightmare. There are fans that are wanting Mike Norvell out literally the year after he won 13 games, which is the first time that has happened at Florida State since 2013. I'm telling you, you don't. It is a 5-scale freak out in Tallahassee right now. And the sad part is, that's what it probably should be, is a 5-scale freak out. Florida State looks bad. And that's coming from someone who likes the school, likes the players, and picked them to make the playoff. They look horrible. Man, I don't know. And there's so much that you still got to look at. Like this week's gonna tell us a lot more. Texas Michigan's obviously the big game, and then you got Tennessee NC State. You got some other like uh, lower level games, and yeah, I just don't have words for what Florida State did. Like that Boston College game left me in shock when I was watching it. Like it didn't feel real. It didn't feel real. All right, so we'll move to a more positive and hopefully just a more hopeful note. We're gonna move to my predictions for week 2. So I got 4 games this week instead of 3 because there were 4 games that I thought were like genuinely ready to like that I think would be interesting to talk about. First one, since y'all probably want me to, and I think I need to, Arkansas and Oklahoma State. Arkansas fans, I need you to listen to me for a second, okay? Har-Ber, Arkansas fans especially, because I know y'all flame me for hating Arkansas, okay? You guys are not a good football team. You guys need to temper your expectations after this game because you're going to get ran through, okay? Pine Bluff is legitimately horrible. I don't care if they're Division I, they're Southwest Athletic Conference. I don't care. That team is garbage, okay? And people don't realize how garbage they are. It's bad. And Arkansas fans are acting like after that game, like, oh, we look good. We're going to win 7 to 8 games. No, you're not, okay? No, you're not. I'm not trying to be mean here. I promise I'm not. You guys are not winning 7 to 8 games. You guys are winning 4 to 5 games, okay? And this game is going to be a giant dose of reality. This game is going to show you, Arkansas fans, that Pine Bluff game was a complete mirage because Pine Bluff is not good. And you guys can't stop the run efficiently. Ollie Gordon is going to absolutely run y'all into the ground. And I have Oklahoma State winning this one big. Like, that 7.5 point spread should be about 10 points higher because Arkansas sucks. All right. Next up, we have Texas and Michigan. I mean, this is the most physical team in the country versus maybe one of the most explosive teams in the country. This is going to be the definition of smash mouth football. And I had Texas. All week I had Texas. But I did some research last night. I looked through some things. I looked to see what these teams are good at, what these teams are good at stopping. Sorry, Texas fans. It's not because I'm an OU fan at all. I'm going Michigan. Michigan's getting way too disrespected. They still have one of the best defenses in the country. They still have one of the best ground games in the country. And people are treating them like they're San Jose State. And it needs to stop. And I think this game's going to be close. I think it's going to be a great game in the end. I've got Michigan coming out on top. Next up, we've got my upset pick of the week. I had one last week. It didn't work out well. This is my upset pick of the week. This is number 17 Kansas State going into Tulane. I've got the Green Wave, man. And this game is going to be a absolute slugfest. This is going to be both offenses just going back and forth. Avery Johnson, Ty Thompson, Mekhi Hughes for Tulane, whatever the freaking Kansas State running back's name is. This game is going to be awesome, and every single person who's not watching Texas Michigan, tune into that game because it is going the reason I'm going with Tulane is because 2 reasons, actually. One, Tulane is actually pretty stinking good, man. Ty Thompson's a solid quarterback. Mekhi Hughes is a great running back. I think they returned a lot on defense. I know that for a fact. Adding Mario Williams through the transfer portal, this team legitimately is really good. And people just don't give them credit for like the playoff scope, because a lot of people think they're just going to regress without Willie Fritz. I don't think that's the case. I've got Tulane winning this one, probably like 34-30. This game's gonna be insane, and I will definitely be watching it alongside Texas and Michigan. All right, next up, and actually last up for the week, we got Tennessee and NC State. Some people are like this. This could be a big game for Tennessee's playoff implications and for NC State's place on the totem pole in the ACC. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a probably physical game. I've got Tennessee win this one, though. I've got them winning 34-24. And no, I didn't just copy over the scores. I actually went through this. And the reason is I just think Nico showed a little bit of his flash last week. I think people are overreacting to Tennessee's performance as a whole last week because they played Chattanooga. But I digress. Tennessee's going to light it up through the air in this game. And I think Squirrel White is going to... I don't think NC State has a corner that can cover Squirrel White. And I've got Tennessee winning this game. Now, every week I'm going to come back to my predictions, guys. So we'll see. We'll keep up with my percentage, and we'll see how I do. All right, quick little interlude break from sports. So, Har-Ber homecoming is coming up, and your boy's on the ballot, guys. Like, your boy's on the homecoming court ballot. So, what y'all should do is take out your phones, either go to your weekly announcements in your email, or go to the Har-Ber Stuco Instagram, and y'all should vote for me, okay? Like, y'all should vote me into homecoming court, please. It would really be awesome if I was on it and if I legitimately was with y'all while I was, like, I don't know how I got nominated on the ballot to begin with, but I'm honored. So, also, if you're, like, comment below what color my suit should be when I go to homecoming, because I think if I get on the court, I'm for sure wearing a suit. So let me know, like, what color and, like, what designs I should do. I was thinking maybe, like, a black suit, just go, like, classic. But now I'm thinking maybe, like, a blue or gray suit. And no, I don't like blue suits, but I think they look solid. That didn't make any sense to y'all, did it? My bad. Yeah, this is going... I'm really bad at marketing myself. Sorry, guys. But... yeah, go vote for me and anyone else you want to on the homecoming ballot, honestly. Like, everybody deserves a shot to get on, in my opinion, who actually got on the ballot. So, go vote for anyone you want. Put your friends on. And just know, 90% of this is a popularity contest, okay? It is. So, I also have my first... band has their first game performance tonight, so I gotta... As you can see, I'm rocking the concert shirt, and we're prepared, man. We are prepared, and we are ready for this. Like, anyone who's going to come to the game tonight, and anyone who comes to any of our marching contests or games later on in the season, you're going to love our show. You are absolutely going to love our show. And I might try to get my band director in on a episode before the season's over, so he can kind of, like, explain what the show entails for anyone who doesn't go see it, But there's just a lot going on at school this next month or so, man. Like, obviously, we got the homecoming ballot voting. That's gonna be awesome, and what I'm really excited for is, again, just getting to do competitions, man. Like, band is incredible. Like, I love doing band. I've loved it since I've ever, like, heard the concept of it. It is legitimately, like, one of my favorite things to do. And I would not miss any of it for the world. If any band people are watching this, just know, love y'all. And you guys are what make my experience and a lot of other people's experiences that much better. So, thank you. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, guys. I will be right back. Although it'll be like 2 seconds for y'all. Oh, gosh. That's embarrassing. All right, so, just ignore what just happened. I just dropped my phone, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a fast food generator, and I'm actually going to get a few fast food places and compare each one to an NFL quarterback. And no, I'm not just going to be picking like the best, like comparing the best quarterbacks to the best places, because that would essentially be me doing two different tier lists, and I don't want to do that. And so we're going to take different traits, you know? So, here we go. First spin, if it'll let me. Hang on, guys, it's taking a few minutes. My phone's pretty slow. All right, first one up is Arby's. Oh gosh, okay. Um, Arby's is Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, and Josh Dobbs, because how in the world are they still around? Like, no, I'm not saying Arby's is bad, but like seriously, there's no which one who's keeping Arby's in business? Because I know y'all aren't doing it. It's insane. And Derek Carr and Daniel Jones are gonna be out of a job soon enough. So how? Now, oh, KFC. This is interesting. Um, KFC's Kyler Murray. Really, really good at what they do, but they're just not on the same level as like people like as the ones that are similar to them. It's like KFC not really on the level of Chick-fil-A or Popeyes, and Kyler Murray not really on the level of like a Lamar or a Josh Allen, you know? Like they're good and they'll get the job done. Um, they're just never going to blow you away with what they have, and they're not going to be as good as people who are similar to them or places that are around them. All right, let's see this next one. Ooh, okay. Um, Wendy's. Okay. Wendy's is Wendy's is Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Two guys that are essentially like actually no. Wendy's is Joe Burrow because uh I mean Patrick Mahomes is McDonald's, right? He's the face, he's the logo, everybody knows who he is, and you think quarterbacks, you think that. Joe Burrow's Wendy's because he's very similar, but just not quite the face that Mahomes is. Although when you put him head to head with Wendy's and McDonald's and Burrow and Mahomes, some might say he's better. And when you look at head-to-head matchups, and when you look at stats, they may have a point. Now, obviously, I don't think that, but I'm just saying what I think I hear a lot of people say about Burrow, about Mahomes. All right. Next one. Domino's. Ooh, okay. I mean, the obvious answer is to say Tommy DeVito because he's freaking Italian, but yeah, I'll just say Tommy DeVito because he's Italian, because I do not know who to compare to Domino's. I'm not doing Long John Silver's because that would just me be saying, like, the absolute worst quarterback I've ever heard of. Man, like, I can't do a lot of these because this is the third time this wheel has given me Long John Silver's. I am going to throw my phone again if it happens. All right, so we got Burger King, or actually no, whoa, it would land on Taco Bell. Okay, um, so Taco Bell is Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson because they do things a little differently than a lot of the top quarterbacks. So I'm going to argue they're just as good, and I argue that they are because Taco Bell's great. I don't care what any of you say. I don't care if it gives me the runs. Like, I don't care if it makes my stomach turn upside down. It is good food. I don't know if it's real, but it's good. And and this especially applies to Lamar since he misses practices due to stomach aches constantly. Like, it's bad. Um, Alright, I'm going to set up for the next segment, and I'll see y'all in a minute, or in like a second. Alright, so we're going to play one more game before I end it for the day. And it is, you guys have got to avoid saying the same thing as me, and we're going to do an NFL edition of this. So I'm just going to say a certain category of players or teams or whatever, and you guys have to say the same player in the same category and not say the same player or team as me, whichever one I pick. We're going to do 5 levels of this, and I want y'all to comment how far you got. Okay? Alright, so first level, name a running back who's made a Pro Bowl. Give you a few seconds. Alright, if you said Joe Mixon, you're out. Alright, next one, name a starting NFL wide receiver. Give you all a few seconds. Alright, if you said Drake London, you're out. Alright, third one. Name a player who has been top 3 in MVP voting within the last decade. Give y'all a few seconds again. If you said Tyreek Hill, you're out. Alright, for the last 2, these are going to be pretty hard. So I'll give y'all a few more seconds after I'm done here. So, fourth one. Name an NFL head coach in the NFC, but not in the NFC East. If you said Dennis Allen, you're out. Alright, last one. Name a Super Bowl MVP from 2015 to now. Alright. I'm letting y'all think through this one because this one's gonna be tough. Alright. If you said Cooper Kupp, you're out. Alright. Let me know if y'all made it through all of them. I tried to make it pretty hard, and I think I did. So, okay. So that's going to be the end of the episode for today. I hope y'all had a great time. I know, I sure did. I love doing this. And make sure to comment any new ideas that you have. Make sure to comment what was your favorite part of the podcast today. And make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss one of our episodes. It comes out every Friday at 6 p.m. And I'm going to make sure of that, and I'm going to make sure that is our highest priority. All right, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. And remember, take care, and God bless. Peace out, y'all.